So you've been working hard installing your cabinets from IKEA or wherever you got them. Everything's looking pretty nice, but now it comes time to put the kicks in and you're noticing that there's big humps in the floor. So I'm going to show you exactly how to fit your kicks so they look perfect along the floor. What you're going to need is a couple of shims and a little block. You want to get a block that is slightly thicker, maybe like a 32nd, half a 16th thicker than the bottom shelf of your cabinet. So then what I recommend is to cut your kicks to length so that they're ready to go. And what you're going to want to do is, if you're fitting in between two tight spaces, you can cut your kick slightly longer, like a 32nd, 64th long, and then you could just bevel this back edge a little bit so that it's just going to snug right in there and fit super tight on the overall length. So what you're going to want to do to fit that perfectly to the floor is scribe it. So take the shims and just shim that right to the bottom of the shelf in the cabinet. So just use your finger to make sure that it's perfectly level there. If you're a little too high, bring it down a bit. You're perfectly level. Take your block, take a pencil. I like number B pencils. They mark a little bit better on this pre-finished material. So take a pencil and just follow along the contour of the floor. Now the reason why you want the blocks slightly bigger is you want to just give yourself a little bit of leeway. You can still push the kick down tight, and there will be like a 64th gap on the top that you're never going to see. Yeah, you just don't want to end up trying to force the kick in there, because what can happen is it can chip the bottom off. So now that you have a perfect scribe mark all the way along, you can go ahead and cut that. There's a couple ways you can do it. You could use a skill saw, tape this off, and then cut it on the face with the skill saw. If it's fairly parallel, you could use a table saw with a fence, or if you're pretty good with a table saw, you could freehand rip it pretty accurately. I don't recommend cutting the right to the line. I like to leave a little bit of the line showing, and then I finish it off with either a belt sander or I have a grinder, or you could even use an orbital sander with some 60 grit sandpaper on there. So now I've got that all perfectly sanded down. You can do a little test fit and see that it is fitting perfectly. There's no gaps. Just editing the video right now, and I thought it'd be important to mention that whenever you sand the bottom of a kick, you're left with a bit of a jagged edge that will chip off easily when you're pushing it in. So you need to take a sanding block or some sanding paper and just break the edge with a couple of passes, smooth it over, and then that way you're going to save yourself a lot of agony when it comes to the install. Back to the video. So, and now what you want to do when you're putting the kick in is the end that you ended up beveling, that's going to kind of pressure fit the whole thing together, you want to put that in last. So start with the other side. That clips on, and then you can see this other side is just and there you go. That pressure fit was maybe slightly more pressure than you would have wanted, but it's fitting very nice and tight. And hey, if you're having any troubles with the doors at your house, I got the perfect playlist for you right here. We'll see you over there. What am I trying to say? And that's just gonna kind of